Hey everyone, I'm Adam Kelly. In this video, I'm going to do my first informal devlog for the new ML Agents content that we're working on. So I've always kind of wanted to do this sort of video, like more frequent informal updates on what I've been working on, and it allows me to create more YouTube content, gives you hopefully some more learning opportunities that aren't just straightforward tutorials. And so this is that first video, and I hope you find it helpful. So this is the new project that I'm working on. It is a pretty simple challenge, but it's a classic in the video game world. The idea that there's a button that needs to be pressed for a door to open. And if you step off the button, then the door closes. So I think back to like Zelda days where you'd have to put a crate on top of a switch to keep the door open. Except this one is collaborative. So there's two agents in here, and I'm only controlling one, although you'll see that there's duplicates that are also being controlled, so just focus on this one for now. So one of the agents needs to stand on this switch for the door to open, and if the switch is not pressed, then the door closes. Then there's another one, which I've made, I can press the shift key and I'll be able to control the other agent. And then you go through the door and you step on this switch, and I'll switch back. Now, at this point, if the other agent steps off, the door closes again. So one of these buttons needs to be pressed in order for this to work. And then once they're both through, then success, it turns green to indicate to us as we're watching it train that it succeeded, because otherwise, if it jumps off the edge, then it indicates that it failed. So the kind of pinkish red means failure, green means success. So basically the movement and stuff and jumping, actually, you can jump in here. That's all borrowed from the wall jump agent. So wall jump, if you haven't looked at it, it's an example that comes with the Unity ML Agents repo. And the challenge is actually, it looks kind of like this because there's a wall, and the idea is that the agent has to jump over the wall. I'm not reusing any of the brain from that, so it doesn't like remember previous training of jumping over walls or anything. It's a fresh, completely blank slate agent that's being trained. But the movement logic was convenient enough, so I just took that and used it. And that's just one piece of advice I would give you if you want to get up and running quickly. Find one of the examples in the ML Agents project that works and borrow some of that code, because sometimes the hardest thing to do is just get over that initial hump of getting from nothing or partial project to actually working code that can be trained. And then you can tweak from there. Once you have something working, it's way easier, in my opinion, to go back and clean things up than it is to start from absolutely blank slate. So if you look in my agent code, this code is basically, it's just slightly modified from the wall jump agent. So I'm not even going to really go through this. The only things that I think I changed were like some variable names and things that were, I just wanted them to be a little different. So that's all. Things like checking for whether there's ground underneath or not, and whether they're, like, I did some different tags, a slightly different tag. That's all. So the interesting things worth talking about are in this scene are this button. So it's basically just a trigger, and the button just knows whether something's inside it or not. It's pressed, and other objects can look at it to see if the button is pressed or not. That's all it is. Really simple. The door basically is aware of all the buttons in this area, and it also has like a target position and a move speed. So if any of the buttons that it knows about are pressed, then it's going to move toward the open position. Otherwise, it's going to move back toward its original position. So that's pretty straightforward here. And so yeah, basically that's the challenge, is to just get through here and hopefully the agents learn to get over here without falling off the edge. It's actually kind of tricky to do with the keyboard, but it shouldn't be too hard for the agents to learn because, you know, the agents have a little bit more control over the keys than I do as a human. So I just want to show you what the training looks like and talk about it a little bit. So I'll start off a new run and I'll hit play and we'll just let it go. So what you can see here, there's basically this, in the scene, there's this floor, obviously. There's the buttons, talked about the door. There's also this thing, I called it a platform because my intent was to have like a smaller target platform, but ignore that. It's actually using this big trigger right now. So as long as they're both inside of this trigger, then they get a reward. If they fall off, they get a negative reward. There's no other rewards in between, which I think may actually be part of the reason why this isn't working. These agents can see the walls, the door, and the other agent with raycasts. They also know their relative position in the scene. So, you know, if it's over here, it's like, you know, it's like +5 in the Z direction and +5 in the X direction and 0 in the Z. So they know that, but that's it. They don't observe anything else about the scene right now. I thought about telling them where the button was, but the buttons don't move. So I thought just giving them an observation that never changed wouldn't be terribly interesting. So my thinking is they need to learn that there's a specific place where they need to stand, not like a specific item that they need to stand on. They just learn that if they're if their relative position is something close to 0, 0, 5, then door opens. That was my thought process there. I might be wrong on that, but that was kind of how I was thinking about it. The other thing is they're jumping a lot. I think the jumping is kind of a distraction, to be honest. I might just turn that off completely and just see if they can solve this without it. The thing they end up doing here, once they learn not to jump off the edge, is they kind of figure out that something interesting happens if they jump over the wall, and they tend to jump on each other's heads until one of them gets over. Now, I kind of knew this would happen, and I kind of left it in on purpose because I wanted to see if they would do it, and they do, but they never learn to stand on the switch to let the other one through, so it never gets rewarded for that, and ultimately it's just getting negative rewards and never really learns anything. So something else needs to happen. Either it needs to be more observations, better rewards, or something is wrong in the like configuration or hyperparameters or something. Like maybe my no, my network's definitely complicated enough. 512 hidden units is plenty. I turned on curiosity, hoping that might help. Doesn't seem to affect anything, at least for the amount of time I've been training it. I turned on this self-play thing. I'll be honest, I haven't taken the time to fully understand what all this means, but it was on for the soccer one. And as I'm looking this, I see this team change thing. I don't know. This might, hopefully it's just benign. If it's doing anything that I don't understand, otherwise it maybe is hurting me, and maybe I need to address this and come back to this. So just wanted to point that out. I might have a problem there, but this is basically just copied from the soccer example. So we'll see. Otherwise, yeah, my plan is just to tweak the rewards and maybe remove jumping so that this chaos doesn't happen. The thing you have to know with rewards, just a little piece of advice, is if you reward for something like standing on the button, which is, I think, a good idea in this case, you need to make sure that it doesn't create an imbalance. Because, so right now I have it set where it gives a +1 to each agent when they both land on this side of the wall. So, and then the episode's immediately over. Now, if I rewarded them for standing on the buttons and I rewarded them too much, then they might learn that they can earn more points just by standing on buttons. And maybe both of them would learn that they could stand half on the button together and that they would get the most points by just sitting on the button together. So you just have to be aware of that when you're crafting your rewards. As soon as you start getting a little more complicated with your rewards, you run the risk of creating something that can be exploited. I mean, as it is right now, I only reward them for getting to the other side. So it's kind of difficult to exploit that. The only exploits they could really do are jumping over the wall like this, or maybe trying to jump around the wall, which maybe is possible, but probably really difficult to do. So once I start adding those intermediate rewards, like if I rewarded them for going through the door, or if I rewarded them for standing on the buttons, or rewarded them for I don't know what else, then you have to start worrying about that balance. And just a little hint at how you would do that balance. You would make sure that the maximum amount it could ever get was no higher than like some fraction of what the max is for this. So let's say the maximum points you can get for being on the other side is 1. Well, let's say the maximum amount of points you can do for being a button operator is like 0.5 or something. That way they for sure will seek out to get the more points at some point. And so to make sure that you never go above 0.5, you'd give a little bit of a reward each step. So 1 fraction of the maximum number of steps total. So like 1 divided by max steps times 0.5 given for every step that it's on a button. That should work in theory. But I might also need to worry about whether having 2 of them on the same button should maybe not give them that reward. So who knows? I'm going to have to experiment with this. I think there's a lot of potential with this. It's a classic game puzzle. It's interesting. It's different. So I'm going to keep working on it. I'll just do like a quick look at a little bit more of the code just so you have a little idea of what's going on. Basically, the team button challenge is the thing that kind of works with the entire area here, and it just keeps an eye on the agents and the buttons, and it will reset things for me. It'll start things off, and it sets the material of the floor properly every time it either succeeds or fails, and it updates. It controls so that I can swap between the different agents. It also does a test for whether all the agents are inside of that target side of the scene, and then it updates the agents as needed. It tests whether any of them fell off the platform, resets things. So that's basically all that's happening in here. The target, this is just something that checks whether the agents are inside the trigger. I think I talked about the other stuff here. The agent is just the copy. So that's really, there's not much else going on here in this scene. The rest is just ML agents working behind the scenes. So that's all I wanted to talk about for this video. I hope it was interesting. I hope it was helpful. Let me know. Do you like this style? Is it too long? Is it too short? I don't know. Do you want me to go into more detail? The plan is ultimately to turn this into a tutorial that I can share. And so you'll get a walkthrough of how to do this entire thing, but I need to get it working before that happens. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and we would appreciate to hear from you in the comments.